So yesterday we were reading this book, A Splash of Red, and we were at the part where we found out that Horace had gotten injured and he could not use his arm to draw anymore. So that's where we left off, and I'm going to go ahead and continue reading now. After the war, Horace came back to the United States and met Jenny Wade. Jenny was a hard worker. She loved to cook. Horace was a hard worker too, and he loved to eat. It was a good match. They married and settled down in Westchester. I can never forget suffering, and I will never forget sunset. I came home with all of it in my mind. Horace was 32 years old, as big and as strong as ever. But because of his injured arm, he couldn't find a job. "How much can you lift?" the hiring bosses asked, and that was the end of that. So Horace did what he could. He organized a Boy Scout troop. He umpired baseball games. He took the neighbors' children fishing. When Jenny started a laundry business, Horace delivered the clean clothes. Sounds like he's finding a way to work hard. As he walked along the streets of Westchester, his fingers itched to draw all the colors and textures he saw. Lacy white curtains billowing in the winds, a splash of red geraniums blooming on a step, a yellow cat sprinting down an alley, deep green vines spiraling up a wall. At night, his old home in Goshen, his grandmother's slave days, and the Bible stories she told made pictures in his mind. He longed to draw them too, but how? His right arm was weak and painful to lift. The iron poker stood by the fire, straight and tall as a soldier. Could he? What do you think he's thinking of? Look at that. With his left hand, he grasped his right wrist. He thrust the poker into the flames until it glowed red hot. Using his good arm to move the hurt one, he scorched lines into wood. "Make a picture for us, Horace," the neighbors said, and Horace did. Wow. With practice, his arm grew stronger, his hand steadier. "Maybe now," he told Jenny, "I can try painting." There was no money for art supplies, so Horace used an old brush and leftover house paint he found in the alleys. For a canvas, he used a clean piece of cloth. Every day and late into the night, Horace worked on his painting. He used gray, black, and white, the somber colors of war. Here and there he added a splash of red. If a man knows nothing but hard times, he will paint them, for he must be true to himself. He used 100 layers of paint. He decorated the frame with tiny sculptures. 3 years later, he finished. Wow, he worked on that 3 years. I go over that picture in my mind several times, and when I am ready to paint it, I have all the details I need. Now, as he delivered laundry or fished in the river, new ideas came, but he didn't paint them right away. Before he reached for a brush, Horace planned each new scene in his head. He painted the milkman and his wagon, women working in the kitchen, children playing games in the yard, cotton fields and log cabins, John Brown and Abraham Lincoln, war scenes and Bible tales, men singing on the corner. Horace hung his paintings in a shoe store window. $5 each, said the sign. He hung others in restaurants. He even traded one for a haircut. People admired Horace's paintings, but no one bought them. Then the president of a local artist club saw Horace's pictures. He told his friend, the famous painter N.C. Wyeth, to come see them too. Wyeth agreed. Horace's paintings were good, very good. Do you have more? The men asked. Horace showed them his work. He held his breath as he looked and talked. Finally, they said, you should have your own art show, a one-man exhibition right here in Westchester. Horace could hardly believe it. He shook hands with the man. When they left, he celebrated with Jenny. It is some of the purest expression I have seen in a long time. People came from all around to see Horace's paintings. Magazines wrote articles, reporters took photos. An art dealer told Horace he would help him sell his work. More than 40 years had passed since Horace won his first box of paints. Now, at last, everyone knew he was an artist. Horace became famous. His paintings hung in big city galleries. Museums displayed them. Collectors admired them. Movie stars bought them. Once again, Horace's big hands were always busy. Artist Showcase wins acclaim. London to see Pippin painting. Pippin has them talking. A brush with greatness. Drawing from the heart. These are all the news headlines. And if you stood outside his house late at night, you might see him leaning towards his easel, his left hand holding up his right, painting the pictures in his mind. What a wonderful story. And here's what he looks like in real life, what he looked like in real life. Horace Pippin. And this map shows all the places where you can see Horace Pippin's art. Wow. The end.